Hey Lou, this is CRPHA. Give me a second here. And one thing I'm about to tell you or talk with you about is simply a good number of things. I'm going to start with the with the autism. The one thing is that as I said, each state and county within the U.S. to start needs to give even the regional centers and the other programs, both educational and otherwise, and also supportive um, programs and organizations such as regional centers, among others, and work programs and what have you, need to give more funding to those programs. The government, the state government, and the government in general, this being, of course, the United States government, needs to give more funding to and for the people that have autism, Asperger's, and a number of other diagnosed disabilities and actual physical and mental disabilities. Because I know for a fact that the regional centers may have, or probably not really may have exactly, but do have programs that are little less, have a little less in the funding department than what than what um, than what the regional centers are willing to essentially admit or even make public. Thereby, the the regional senators are basically doing the best they can. That's one. But the basic fact is that some of that it could be possible. There could be a possibility that one particular program that has a less moderation or percentage of funding, more than say way less than say maybe more to moderate less than the others, right? Maybe shall we say helpful and supportive and useful for the client, both with Asperger's, autism, whatever. So generally, the one thing is that the state government and the United States government needs to do that. Needs to do exactly what I just said earlier. Supply more money towards the regional centers and other programs that help and support and guide a step at a time, just like the regional centers do. Um, those particular clientele, those particular numbers of people in the quote unquote clientele. They're not pieces of paper. Yet that's another thing. We have, I know that many people have dealt with this over the course of several numbers of years, actually maybe more than several. Is that numbers of organizations, companies, programs, the whole enchilada, right? I mean, especially when it comes to federal programs, governmental programs, what have you. People have been saying that in hindsight, people are being treated like this sheet of paper right here, and yet, granted, a number of them have like serial number or a particular file number, or however they do it, but still it's like A326 or A3 whatever, and it could be a long, extensive number, right, along with the name and what have you. The one thing is, no person should, no person should be treated as just a file number with a real legal name. In general, we're not pieces of paper, and yet many companies, organizations, both federal government and state, and not even some of them, and a good percentage of nonprofits have been treating people that way. That needs to stop. And that doesn't mean stop helping the people who you have on your file, but don't treat them as if they're a piece of paper. Treat them like the way you want to be treated. I don't care. I don't care if your boss says, "Well, treat them like this." Even just call them by their names so they don't feel insulted. But treat them as if they're not as important as we put out in the advertisements. Example. The only reason why we do that is because we need people to be a part of our program who need the basic support, and we act like we can do things for them. It doesn't. That sort of phony baloney crap needs to stop as well. I can tell you also another. I went out today advocating. I'm not going to say what day it is because nobody's business but my own. If you want to know, as Flo says on Alice from the 1970s, kiss my grits. The basic fact is the one other aspect I will mention on the sense of relationships, in which I will mention on my next video. Not the CRPHA one exactly, because this is a CRPHA video, be that, of course, an advocating video. The one thing is that I am going to do one thing to start. Those who are not within my friend zone, who are not related to me as well, who are not in any relationship status with me. If you want any services done in the sense of advocating, there will be a price. And if you want to know what the cost or prices are per situation ratio, I will and I can tell you. And legally, I have that right. Other than that, you might as well wait until I do videos to inform you on what the so-called the general info that I've gotten that I will be discussing, along that may even attach to or connect to what I have already discussed on my other video. Thereby, you're basically on your own. The basic fact is that I've been in the state that I'm in, and I'm not going to say where, and I've been in the U.S. long enough. I will say I'm in the U.S. though. That's one thing. That's only one. But the basic fact is I've been in the U.S. long enough to know exactly what I can and cannot do per state as an advocate and as a human being. Be that, of course, as a citizen. I was born and raised in this country. Therefore, that smokes that right there. If you hear TV, that I got one of my close friends watching TV right now while I do this video. And here's another one. Jerry Brown doesn't realize how many haters he has. I can't stand the fucking freak, and I can say that because Basically, he's been doing a lot of shit. Jerry Brown's been doing a lot of shit and claiming that it's a good thing for California. Like he said the speed train is a good thing for California. And look how much the state has to put out. And a good percentage of that is a good large percentage of that is tax dollars, and to where he will try to make every way possible to where the state doesn't put out too much, but yet our tax dollars go right towards it. It doesn't, and yet instead of the tax dollars going towards our youth's education, the environment, various other things, right? And also the aspect of recycling and getting better established programs and what have you else, and more cost effective programs and organizations and help centers and whatnot, and also apartment situations. Oh, that's another one. For some time, when it comes to the living situation, and I know I mentioned this before, but the basic fact is it's still in fruition, as it were. The basic fact is that the realty companies and the land and it was the contractors, starting within the state of California, are refusing and trying to do the damnedest that they can to withhold things that are logical, such as, for example, they're withholding the realistic, logical possibility, more than possibility, which would generally turn into an actual positive, logical reality for the homeless and for those that are on low to moderate working and not working incomes, including supplemental security incomes and also retirement incomes. And the basic fact is this: the realty companies and also the contractors are not thinking of there will be a time to where they themselves will need that particular type of situation as well, where there's low income, more cost effective, but affordable type of apartment situation, apartment living situations that they themselves will need eventually, especially the way things are going up in price and cost and what have you, even in the state of California. Yet Yet people have been saying, "Oh yeah, California is one of the richest, wealthiest states in the country." Oh really? If that was the case, aside from California being one of many of the states that is known to have one of the highest technological advancements in the country, starting with the computer technology among others, right? Um, if that was the case, then apartments such as where each and every one of us lives in would not have to pay $7 to $8 to $1,000 a month. It'd be way more cost effective, way more affordable in the same aspect. Um, if California was that wealthy, because California would be able to, the state of California would be able to, shall we say, subsidize its own budget in some respect and balance its own budget and finances. Thereby, of course, the landowners would be able to do something. And the owners of the complexes, retail, commercial type of established land areas, would they be able to do it in a cost effective way without raising shit, right? Same thing with apartments and other rental things like when you rent a house or something. You know, obviously that's not the case because many people are still having to pay over 1,000 to 900 to 800 to 700 to 600. Although I'm not saying 600 is that as bad as long as you can afford it, but not very many people can, especially on a family type income and budget and finance situation, especially in the state of California, along with New York City. New York City is one of the highest ones, practically close to LA, close to San Francisco, close to Sacramento, almost totally. Being that Sacramento being in the state of California, but again, I'm not going to say where I am. And the reason I'm saying I'm pointing down is to make a point is like if I was pointing down at a map, for example, which I could be, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to be honest with you. Yes. The one thing is also all the landowners and property owners management only can think of only one thing. This they don't see the aspect of humanity. They don't see people as who they are and how they are. They don't treat them as such either. Therefore, yet they expect to be treated with respect. But yet at times the people who are renting from them they don't always get the same respect. And especially with as much as what each tenant has to put out and try to still make, you know, and the landowners and the property management, they don't care if you struggle or what. All they care about is this and themselves. That's very sinful, spiritual. And believe me, they'll be going straight to hell for that fact that if they think they're not, if they keep going down that same road, same pathway as well, all in the same generalization. And when I was out, I had my lunch, took a lunch break anyway, and as I was out advocating, and when so far many several people that I talked to today agreed with me about Jerry Brown. They can't stand the fucking freak. They do agree the fact that he doesn't know how to govern the state worth a damn. He calls himself, as I said, and Jerry Brown calls himself a humanitarian. He's not a humanitarian. No humanitarian would try to separate each section of each part of the state and call it its own country and be defensive against a particular party that's in the White House instead of being willing, have a willingness to work alongside them and be cooperative and logical. But no, Jerry Brown doesn't know anything of true, actual logic and realistic logic. All he's been doing is that things that benefit him by himself and things that benefit his party, and that's very selfish. He is not a humanitarian. He doesn't give a damn about the citizens and are you in the state of California. And he still has a vengeful hatred towards our president, which basically a humanitarian doesn't have hatred towards anybody, regardless of the party affiliation or what have you else. If you were to ask him about that, he'd fucking bullshit you. He won't say that he'll try to act like it's so true and can try to convince you, but he will straight up fucking bullshit you. So will Daryl Steinberg, so will Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer. If they know what you want to hear, believe me, they'll bullshit you. They won't be honest with you. They won't tell you the honest, natural logic and truth because they are afraid of the truth. The leftist liberals are afraid of the truth. They're afraid of reality. They're afraid of our Heavenly Father and our Savior in all aspects. And yet I know a number of them who go to church or so-called say that they do, or even try to claim that they do. Even if they do, it doesn't really say, oh, these people are good people. They would never harm a fly. Oh yeah? What do you think Jerry Brown's been doing in the state of California since he's been in the governor's seat? He's made it to where no business that was planning to come into California ever to come into California, and a number of businesses, due to his fucking high tax plan, has either gone belly up, completely shut down, to the point to where there's way less employment in every county, practically, and city within every part of the state. In fact, today, Tom Likas has mentioned up and down the boulevard and various other areas of LA, there used to be a whole bunch of shops in a row. Now the whole area is practically vacant. If not completely, without a doubt, without question vacant. And it's due to the high tax plan situation, I can guarantee you. Because that high tax plan is not for California, and it's not to help or support the business owner, even the small business owners. Even the small business owner down the street, from where I live, I'm not going to say where I live exactly, but the basic fact is that right over at Jim Boys, it's making it harder for that particular business owner in a franchise, of a franchise of Jim Boys, essentially. It's making it hard for everybody that owns a business and that has a large chain type business. Even Toys R Us is still said to be closing a good large number of their stores. That's not very promising for the children, even our newborns, youth, and a number of our other youth that need educational toys, that need things to play with. I mean, activity aspects as well. I mean, educational toys, the whole enchilada, right? Therefore, it's like, okay, goodbye Christmas, right? Goodbye Christmas presents. And that's not a positive. Yeah, there might be still some toys in general, but if you go into a number of stores like CVS, which I hate CVS store, Rite Aid and various others, right? They're little toys that have small parts, which is not good for small children. It's not good for small children. That's what makes a store like Toys R Us majorly beneficial. They have toys for every age range. In the beginning, the founder, I don't know if he's still alive or not, but the founder of Toys R Us, when he first started, he named it Children's Furniture Store. Right? Then eventually, as he went into having toys for the younger youth, from the generation that he started doing that all the way through, the number of years, he started to see that he had a higher percentage of cost and expense aspects of to where the toys in general were bought more than the furniture. Therefore, the furniture wasn't purchased quite as much as the toys were. So in hindsight, he changed the name. He completely changed the whole venue, the whole strategy, what have you, of his company, which basically he later renamed as Toys R Us. Oh, believe me, I know a number of historical aspects, the historical aspects of Walmart, historical aspects of Longs, historical aspects of Target, CVS, Walgreens, you name it. Believe me, I can tell you straight up. Even the aspect of Kmart, for example, the historical aspects and facts of Kmart and Sears, Montgomery Ward, the list goes on. And also, the one thing is also is this. I still am going to put more pressure on Jerry Brown each video I make and each time I mention it. He still has until April of my choosing of this year, 2018, to take down the high tax plan, to pull away from separating sections of the state as if it would be generally turned into its own country as, right? And to drop the status of sanctuaries, of the sanctuary state status, which is basically, again, unconstitutional. So it was trying to separate the sections of the state into its own country act, generalization, or what have you. And also, what is also unconstitutional, and I'm sure many people have brought this a certain number of my videos to the mayor of Frisco, San Francisco, California, that I have mentioned him, and he will be disbarred and asked to step down, even constitutionally forced to step down, if he doesn't drop the fucking sanctuary city status of Frisco. And he again also has until April of my choosing of this year to do so before such time. Because having a sanctuary city is also unconstitutional. They kept on claiming that they may keep on claiming that they follow the Constitution, but obviously they do not. Because having a sanctuary anything, sanctuary areas, sanctuary schools, sanctuary type of or even segregated, for example, segregated areas and places is unconstitutional. Yes, we had segregated areas in schools and whatnot in between, I'd say, from the 20s to 50s and 60s, and maybe a moderation of the 70s and what have you, but that should never be, because that also is against the Constitution and people's rights, human rights essentially as well. Everybody's created equal. We all shit, piss, and fart and put on clothing and bathe pretty much the same way. We may do it in a different, shall we say, variation, or we may do like the bathing in a different way when it comes to soap and shampoos or what have you. But basically, it's all the same. We do what we can to stay clean in the aspect of hygiene, in the basic hygiene. But we all have the same type of blood, in the sense of it being red. It's not purple, green, yellow for the others, and only red for a certain number of other people. It's not that way at all. Although in Star Trek it is different. Like, for example, Vulcans have green blood, according to Storyline, of course. Klingons have purple, fuchsia type of blood, but the human beings have red, like we do, and also it goes on from that point. But the basic fact is, as I said, Jerry Brown and the government and the mayor of Frisco have till April to do as I suggest, or they will be dealt with constitutionally and legally. When Trump does come into the state of California, hopefully he will put that strong, forcibly onto Jerry Brown, because Jerry Brown may say, "Yeah, Mr. President, I'm a constitutional follower." Bull fucking shit. The basic fact is if any politician it follows the Constitution, they would not support and back, and they would not put any state or city in a sanctuary status or any unconstitutional status, and they would not do what Jerry Brown's little party buddies would want to are trying to put forth into making California into its own aspect of a country variation, which is also still unconstitutional. I'm going to mention this one other time here. Jerry Brown did one thing, and I mentioned it to one person before I headed home, is that he went behind closed doors while the Proposition 39 and many of the other propositions were being voted upon. And Proposition 39 was about to be passing because everybody knew that it was under, at the time anyway, it was under the aspect of funding for the California state schools of every grade level and what have you. But stupidly, Jerry Brown only thought of himself and the party. He didn't think of the youth on any level, and he didn't think of the parents, of what the parents may or may not think and feel. He only wanted to benefit him and his own party, being the liberal jackass party of the liberal dumbass brain dead Democrats. And he went behind closed doors, and the Sacramento Bee has this possibly still on their site. I don't know. But they did mention that he went behind closed doors, not exactly in this way, but him behind closed doors while the voting was still in progress. And he used a legislative loophole, and he changed the Prop 39 from the California school funding, California school / education funding proposition by using a certain legislative loophole and changed it to where his high tax plan would pass even after a number of months, if not maybe a year and a half or so before that the news media that was all over it, even the ones across this country, that when they interviewed a number of a various number of them, if not the whole entire population within the state of California, they said the high tax plan was a bad idea. It would not help California worth a damn. Even the Republicans within the Capitol building itself said it was a bad idea. It's gonna negatively affect California, and that it already has. Before it went into law. about a year or to about a few months before it went into law, a number of businesses either went belly up to the point of disappearing or shut down and became non-existent. One of them being, of course, Mervyn's and Hostess Cupcake Wonder Bread Factory, among others, besides Campbell Soup and um, Hershey's and what have you else. They all left the went out of business in the state of California, and of course Hershey's and Maxwell House and whatnot went to other states or countries. And the high tax plan is affecting Toys R Us. The high tax plan is affecting Mervyn's. It did affect Mervyn's, even though it wasn't really fully in law. The high tax plan is affecting Kmart and Sears. The high tax plan is affecting a number of other businesses as well. But does Jerry Brown see that or even give a damn about that? No. He promised jobs in his own demeanor. He promised better education in his own demeanor before he was even elected. He promised a positive pathway for California in all. It has not been any sort or form or any reality and logic of any type of positive pathway. It's been issue to problem to drastic problem after problem after problem. That's all he's been doing. He was creating more and more problems. Ronald Reagan, before he was our country's president, he was a Democrat in the state of California to start with, and he was our governor. He did a better job than Jerry Brown has ever. Pete Wilson was our state governor for a number of years, starting through my youth to start with, and many other people's youth as well, and I'm sure of that. And he did a better job than Jerry Brown. Ray Davis was said to be doing better as well, but he flopped out. He fucked up. He completely made things completely unbalanced in many ways, even the unnoticeable things. And believe me, I know those names. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he didn't really do a good job, although he basically showed he had no conception of politics. He may understand it, but he has no way to. He had no real logical way of able to do anything positive while in the political venue. He's a good actor. I give him that, and I like the fact that he's a really good actor. Along with the movies that he did in the early to mid '80s, maybe '70s and '90s, like the Terminator movie, what have you, and also Kindergarten Cop and among others like Eraser and what have you. But he did not do good in the sense of politics as the governor for California at all. But nonetheless, I still respect him as a human being and as an actor. That part he's good. I mean, the actor part he's good at. Jerry Brown. Yes, his father was his father was said to be a governor at some point within the state's history, possibly, although it's really not really conclusive, if at all. But the basic fact is Jerry Brown has been our governor in the 1970s, in which basically a number of people called him Moonbeam Brown, and in the 1970s. And even now, currently in 2018, and even in 2017, he doesn't know how to he doesn't know how to govern a state. Think the gods he's not our president because he would fucking screw this country up way worse than Obama. Although I'm not gonna, and I'm gonna add that Obama did not do a good job. Although he's praised as to being one of the best presidents in this country's history, that's a load of shit. I respect Obama as a human being and as a child of Heavenly Father, but in the sense of politics, forget it, man. Obama, you did majorly blow chunks, and that's not just my opinion. I've talked to many people, the ones that are not really kiss asses of the liberal democratic jackass politicians and party. The basic fact is, if I was confronted by any liberal idiot in the political office or venue, and if they stood up and tried to demand shit of me, fuck you. I, I'm following the Constitution. I have every fucking God-given right to exactly say what I feel and what I know and what is actuality, what's reality, what's factual, and what's the damn truth, and what is real, true, and actual logic. Even if the liberal idiot Democrats don't want the American people to know, I will find out and I will tell you. Even if they try to cover it up the best way they can, I know ways that nobody's even aware of. I know ways to find out shit that nobody would be able to block from me. That's the honest truth. So here's one thing. Jerry Brown again still has till April of my choosing to drop the sanctuary status of the sanctuary state status. He has until before April to drop the high tax plan, completely dismantle it. He has until April to back away hopefully before April to back away from the idea or even plan or what have you when it comes to separating sections of California into its own little country, which doesn't really support the state of California or its citizens or its youth, and it's also unconstitutional, equal to the sanctuary status. And the mayor of Frisco has until the same point of April to drop and dismantle the sanctuary city status of Frisco, city and county. So, so basically now, what is your thought? Because I know many people, the one person among others, have agreed with me the fact that Jerry Brown should be impeached. But I'm being a nice person. I'm giving, and in all logic, it's better to do this. In all logic, in reality, and what have you else, not really misintent respect. But in all logic and reality, it's better to give people a certain length of time of a chance to rectify things for the better, not the worse. So therefore, I'm giving Jerry Brown till next month, which is April, because we're already on March right now. I'm not going to say exactly when I will announce for his impeachment as an advocate for and about the people of this country, of the United States of America, but I will do it. And when I do it is of my choosing. And the one thing is, I can't be told one thing when it's really not the truth. Because if anybody says, "Oh yeah, he did this, he did exactly what you suggested," then I turn around and find out he didn't. No, I don't go by that. It's either logically the truth, realistically the truth, and in actuality happened. No phony bullshit documents, no made up crap like that at all. Right? It has to be an actuality, or I will set a point in time and day for his impeachment to announce his impeachment. Thereby, constitutionally, he can be and will be impeached for going against the Constitution of this country when it comes to a particular state. It doesn't matter what state it is. It would happen to any other governor of any other state. Trust me. And who can perform it is the vice president. It doesn't matter who it is, and it doesn't matter what party it is. And the president himself, among others, and also the person that upholds the Constitution, logically, from Washington D.C. and among others. Believe me, Jerry Brown, if you're watching, I know what I'm saying to be true. So you better fucking take what I say seriously, because I don't threat, I promise. On the aspect of charging those who want me to advocate for you on any particular issue, educational, employment, commercial life, right, human rights and whatnot. There will be a cost, and also I'm gonna tell you, one thing. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm single. I can't stand politics, but the reason I focus on politics is because I care about the American people. I do what I can to inform them of the truth, the actual logic and facts of what's happening, and what may negatively affect their rights and freedoms and their constitutional, support and rights and what have you. The basic fact is that's what advocates are supposed to do. So that's what I'm doing. My father was a Marine before I was even born. He did his part by serving and defending and protecting his country as a Marine, and I'm doing my part as an advocate. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions or anything, please let me know. But I will tell you, I will not hold anything back from you when it comes to what's really happening. So, I will always tell you what's logical and what's not, what's factual and what's not, what's the truth and what's not. Even though I can't stand politics, I'll still inform you. Especially when I'll even inform you when it comes to education, commercialization, be that of course employment, what have you. Among other things. within every state. But the basic fact is that if you have any issues or situations that may need to be addressed in your state within the U.S. only, and do not pretend like don't even say that you're part of the U.S. when you're really not, because I won't deal with that either. If you're not really truly part of if you're not truly and logically and legally part of the U.S., don't even respond on the comment section below. If you are part of the U.S. and legally live in the U.S. and basically live/reside in the U.S., and you have any particular issues or topics that you want me to discuss and even maybe look into and whatnot as an advocate, let me know. Of how you would pay me to do so, we can discuss via possibly Facebook. If you have a Facebook page or not, then of course you'll know to look up for CRPHA, and we can talk from there. If you're out to do anything negative and illegal, forget it. I ain't gonna do shit for people who do any illegal, illogical things, even against other human beings, and it doesn't matter what gender. And again, veterans, thank you for your service. Military, thank you for your service. Navy, Air Force, and also Marines, top notch, and Army. Thank you for your service. And I may say that Tom Leykis, I'm going to add this outside the advocating aspect, even though I normally wouldn't do this, but Tom Leykis is about to retire. Although I think he shouldn't, but of course I'm not going to go against his rights and constitutional rights and human equal aspects of rights and freedoms. If he feels that he needs to and wants to retire, hey, I support him on that. But the basic fact is, I believe that he needs to stick around and still do what he has been doing with Leykis 101. Yes, I do follow it personally, but I believe he would do equally good if he stayed around at least maybe about a couple more years, if that. And of course, at the same time, I'm going to tell you straight out, I do have a Tom Leykis page, fan and listener page, of course. I will be willing to take over not only as a fan and listener, but also because I understand the concept and the reason whatnot of why he says what he says on Leykis 101, which is basically logical and realistic. Anyways, if you have any questions or need to talk to me or have any issues within your state, even if you are in California, even if you are in other states and counties of California, among other cities and among other states within the cities and counties of any other state, including Hawaii, the Hawaiian Islands, essentially, let me know, and I will see what I can do. But at the same time, until I know the whole entire aspect, I won't be able to promise anything. And I'm being honest with you. Thank you. Have a good day. And may Heavenly Father bless you all. And may Heavenly Father, in our Savior's name, bless the United States of America.